Have you ever walked into a room and you just instantly feel someone, like they own the space?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like they have this subtle gravity,
hmm
pulling attention, commanding respect, influencing things without saying much at all.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing to witness.
Well, that magnetic pull, it isn't really magic, is it? Our source for today calls it command presence.
hmm
He sees it as this compound force, built from authority, confidence, and charisma. So, in this deep dive, our mission is pretty clear. We want to give you a shortcut to understanding these, well, human superpowers.
That's a good way to put it.
We're going to unpack what each part really means, how you can actually develop them, uh, why they're frankly non-negotiable for real influence, and then get into some practical steps.
Mm.
How to broadcast them ethically, of course, to positively shape behavior.
Right. It's about turning those everyday interactions into moments of, like, quiet power, subtle behavioral change. And what's really fascinating is that command presence isn't some, innate thing you're born with.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right. It's learnable.
Completely learnable. It's a compound force. It's how authority, confidence, and charisma work together.
Yeah.
That synergy makes it a truly powerful skill set for anyone who wants to master it.
Okay, let's break that down then, starting with the first pillar, authority. Now, when we hear authority, I think most people jump to like a boss, a rank, a title,
Sure, the obvious stuff.
authority as the perceived right to lead and be obeyed, even without asking.
That's the key perceived.
Yeah, and we've seen this in psychology for ages, right? You look at Milgram's obedience experiments or Cialdini's work on the authority principle. It seems like we're just hardwired to defer to people who look and act like they're in charge. Why is that? Why do we give that unspoken permission so easily?
That's a great question, and it really goes back to our primal wiring, our need for order, for safety. Our brains are constantly scanning, looking for signals of competence, of control.
Like a shortcut.
Exactly.
Hmm.
When someone projects authority, our system kind of tags them as a leader, someone who can handle uncertainty. It's an unconscious shortcut to efficiency and often, survival back in the day.
So what does that look like?
Well, he identifies a few key things. Clear boundaries and standards, for one, decisive speech and behavior, no wishy-washiness,
Okay.
and something he calls calm dominance.
Yeah.
That ability to just stay unshaken, even under stress, being that sort of unmovable rock in a chaotic situation.
Right. So if it's not about the badge or the corner office, how do you actually build that kind of authority?
Well, step one is foundational. Know your material.
Mm.
Master your subject, your domain, whatever it is, so deeply that doubt just doesn't really enter the equation often. People pick up on that expertise subconsciously. Second, command your space.
Mm-hmm.
Authority is often physical before it's verbal. Think about posture. Straight spine, open chest, feet grounded. It sends a powerful signal.
Nonverbal cues.
Huge. Third, watch the fillers. Speak with minimal fillers.
Hmm.
Those ums and likes, they chip away at perceived authority. Silence, used effectively, can actually be much more authoritative than just filling the space.
Interesting. Silence as a tool.
Definitely. And finally, frame the context. The idea is if you control the setting, the implicit rules of the interaction, you often control the authority by default. You set the stage.
And the real world impact of doing all this, cultivating this authority, what does it get you beyond just, people doing what you ask?
Well, think of authority as this sort of psychological lubricant. It subtly disarms that initial resistance people might have.
Okay.
When you project it effectively, our primal brain, which is kind of wired for social hierarchy, it instinctively defers. It just makes it easier.
Yeah.
So people don't just comply. Often they become more willing, sometimes even eager to participate because it feels like the path of least resistance. It bypasses some of their analytical objections.
So in relationships, say.
In relationships, your words just carry more weight. Your boundaries tend to get honored more naturally. It's about earning that unspoken permission to, well, lead the interaction.
Okay, so we've got authority, which is projected outward. But the foundation for that, the bedrock of influence, really seems to come from within, right? Confidence.
Absolutely.
Our sources paint confidence as that deep internal self-trust, knowing you can handle what's coming. But what's really interesting is how he talks about projecting it, even if you don't fully feel it yet, through specific body language, voice, micro habits. How does that actually work?
Yeah, it's about broadcasting certainty, even if internally you're still working on it. So to project that unshakable confidence, you can start with your breathing. Control your breathing.
How so?
Shallow chest breathing signals fear or anxiety. Deep belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, signals calm. Control. You can try it right now, actually.
Mm.
Just shifting that breath. You feel a difference almost immediately.
Mm. Okay.
Next, hold eye contact, just a heartbeat longer than maybe feels comfortable initially. It's a simple thing, but it signals certainty and connection.
Right. Not staring, but holding.
Exactly. And here's a counterintuitive one. Own your mistakes openly.
Really? That seems like it would undermine confidence.
You'd think so, but paradoxically, admitting flaws can actually boost perceived confidence. Cialdini touches on this with his liking and authority principles. It makes you seem more authentic, more human, and ironically more confident because you're not trying to hide.
Interesting.
And finally, focus on daily micro-wins. Every time you tackle something difficult, even something small, and succeed, you're literally wiring your brain for more confidence. It's like building a mental muscle bit by bit.
And the impact of projecting this confidence, it's not just about how you feel or seem, right? It affects others.
Oh, massively. Confidence is genuinely contagious. It sends a signal to others. This person knows what they're doing. It's safe to follow.
Okay.
Neuroscience is starting to back this up. When we sense confidence in someone, our brains tend to shortcut doubt. You mentioned the reticular activating system. The RAS, it helps filter information. Strong signals of confidence can basically tell the RAS, pay attention here, this is reliable. It makes people more open, more receptive.
It bypasses that initial skepticism.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier to accepting new ideas or following direction.
All right, so authority sets the frame. Confidence provides the backbone. Now, the third element, charisma, the emotional magnet.
Yes, the magnet. That's a good description.
Charisma seems to be that blend of like warmth and presence, the thing that makes people feel genuinely seen, heard, valued. Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence really seems to align with here, doesn't it?
It really does. Charismatic people, they broadcast energy, empathy, and this intense focus on others. It's not necessarily about being the loudest or funniest person. It's about making everyone else in the interaction feel important, feel interesting.
So how do you radiate that? What are the practicals for charisma?
Well, number one is absolute presence. Charisma just vanishes if your mind is elsewhere, checking your phone mentally or physically.
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen so deeply, it feels like. For that moment, nothing else exists.
Total focus.
Total focus.
Yeah.
Second, use warmth in your voice tone, in your gestures. A real smile, one that reaches your eyes, not just a polite mouth smile. Your nonverbals need to match the warmth you want to convey.
Okay.
Third, mirror subtly. Nonverbal mirroring, matching posture, gestures, maybe even speech rhythm slightly.
Yeah.
It builds rapport unconsciously. Creates that feeling of being in sync.
Without being obvious or creepy about it.
Oh, definitely subtle. It has to feel natural. And maybe the most crucial part, make others feel interesting. Ask genuine questions about their experiences, their thoughts, not just rattling off facts or waiting for your turn to talk. And then listen. Be genuinely interested.
So what's the leverage here? What does this emotional magnet of charisma actually do in terms of influence?
Well, charisma isn't just about being liked, though that helps. It's the crucial bridge. It fuses the authority you project and the confidence you embody, and it makes people want to follow your lead.
Ah, so it shifts from compliance to desire.
Precisely. In persuasion, charisma turns what could feel like a command into an invitation. People want to say yes to someone charismatic, someone who makes them feel good, feel connected. It shifts influence from feeling like an obligation to feeling like an inspiration.
Okay, I see how they fit together now. Authority sets the stage, confidence gives the credibility, and charisma makes people want to engage.
Exactly. You can really see this triad at work, creating a powerful synergy. Authority shapes the perception and context, confidence maintains the focus, and encourages compliance.
Mm.
And charisma drives the openness, the connection. Together, these elements are essentially designed to, let's say, work with the natural pathways of the mammalian brain, bypassing resistance, creating willing alignment. It's not about force. It's about optimizing how we naturally interact socially.
This whole triad sounds incredibly powerful, almost like a cheat code for communication sometimes, which brings up a question. How do we make sure we're using this ethically?
That's a vital point.
Where's the line between genuine influence, which is necessary, and, manipulation, especially when we're talking about hacking the mammalian brain? And how does this apply outside of, say, high-stakes negotiation or covert ops? How does it work in just everyday relationships?
That distinction is crucial. The goal here is absolutely not manipulation. It's about creating an environment where people naturally choose the best path forward, ideally with you, because you've built that foundation of trust and projected positive influence.
So it's about elevating communication.
Exactly, making it more effective, more positive, and it applies everywhere. Leading a team meeting, sure, but also comforting a partner, parenting a teenager, ethically guiding a client. This triad gives you leverage.
Ow.
It helps you command respect without needing force. It helps you earn trust much faster than just relying on logic alone, and it makes your words actually stick, inspire change. It fosters real collaboration, positive outcomes. It's about mutual benefit, not just getting your way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so for everyone listening, wanting to start cultivating this command presence in their own lives, what are some practical steps, things they can do, like today?
Yeah, definitely some actionable things. First, maybe try what you could call a daily one power habit. Pick one trait, authority, confidence, or charisma, and just focus on amplifying that one thing for the day.
Right.
For example, okay, today I'm going to practice pausing for just a beat before I speak to deepen my authority. Just one small focus.
How tangible.
Second, do regular quick behavior check-ins during your day. Notice moments where maybe your authority dipped or your confidence wavered or you weren't projecting warmth. Just notice and make small, real-time adjustments.
Self-awareness.
Crucial. And finally, consciously cultivate your social proof. As you consistently project calm, decisiveness, genuine connection, your reputation starts to build. Your network will unconsciously begin to reinforce your command presence. It creates this positive feedback loop that makes it even stronger.
So it builds on itself.
It really does.
Well, it seems clear that in a world just flooded with noise, distractions, authority, confidence, and charisma really are like human superpowers. They build trust, inspire respect, shape behavior for the better, not through force, but through presence.
Well said.
And mastering these, it feels like it doesn't just change the rooms you enter, it genuinely holds the power to change lives. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with is, how might cultivating your command presence unlock new possibilities in your relationships, your influence, starting today?